everyone, it's Kathy Zilski. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a very bright, colorful rainbow card featuring some die cut windows with some watercolor backgrounds that I created using some Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I love this approach for creating colored backgrounds, so let's take a look at the products I'm using today. The die is called the HBD die, and yes, that does stand for Happy Birthday. Get it? HBD? Yeah. It's a nice size, not too big, not too small. And the cool thing is you can use the negative or the positive. I'm also going to be using a Swiss Dot Cuttlebug embossing folder. I love that folder. It's one of my favorites. And I've also got my stamp set here for my sentiment. Now this is the Stop, Drop, and Party set from me. Many birthday things on here, but I'm only using one tiny sentiment from that. I also have a rainbow of color with my zigs, and I will have everything listed below if you're curious to know what colors went into my rainbow. Got my paintbrush here, and I'm also going to be using today, this is new for me, these are these Licorice foam strips. I needed thin foam strips, and I thought I'd give them a try. For cardstock, I'm going to be using two different cardstocks. I've got some Strathmore BRISTOL Smooth for my watercoloring, and then just Nina Solar White for die cutting and my card base. And of course, some more things as we go. The first thing I want to do is create a little boundary for painting. The main reason I wanted to do it is so once I started painting on the Strathmore paper, that I actually had a guide within which to paint, if that makes sense, because I didn't want to get too wild with my rainbow stretching out too far, if that makes sense. Now I'm using this palette from Art Impressions. I really like this. It's a cool tool. I'm smushing down my color, coloring it down, picking it up with some water, and adding it into my little brackets, if you will. And all I want to do is work down in rainbow order and create a blend of color. And I wanted to have one of those die cut pieces up there too, just so that I could, look up at the letters and overlay it every now and then to make sure that where the letter openings are, that I actually was able to see a bit of blend. I got it pretty well. Now I don't know what happened to the center clip. It just disappeared. But there's the center. See that? I'm going to add a little more green in there to kind of pop it up. And I'm just moving on to the third collection of color, the blues into purple. So again, just laying down the color and mixing it so that there's a little bit of a blend. But this is a really easy thing to do. I like just following simple rainbow patterns like this. And when it dries really bright and smooth. And you can kind of see with overlaying just like that, that's the effect that I'm going to get. So once I pumped up all the color a little bit more, I just set this aside to dry until it was ready to go. All right, pumping up a little more. I have nothing else to say about that. All right, now, once it was dry, I decided to flick on some water. Just wanted to have a few little droplets because there's not much really going on here. And that's the nice thing about the Zig color is that it reacts with water, and so the color will lift. I thought I needed a few more flicks. That was a little too subtle, so just repeated, and voila, more flicks, and now we'll let that dry completely. In the meantime, I'm cutting out 3 more HBD panels. I'm only going to use the negative, but I'm going to pop out those letters and I'm going to save it for another project. Yes, I am. I'm going to do something with them. I'm not sure what, but mark my words, something will be done. But I just want the HBD. And I don't want to use the centers either, mostly because I want to see the pretty color underneath, so I'm not saving the centers. Now I found this die in my collection that I used to go ahead and cut out the colorful panels. It's not quite a perfect fit. This is a little bit deeper. And so I just took it to my paper trimmer, sliced off a little from each side, and there you go. They are sized to fit exactly behind the die cuts. Next, I'm going to add my Cuttlebug folder. Got a piece of cardstock in there, and then I put my Spellbinders embossing plate. You don't need a pad with this. You run it through. This Swiss Dot folder is my favorite by a landslide. I just think that is a classic design. And now I'm going to take this Licorice thin foam adhesive, just cut a bunch of strips and then cover the backs of all of the die cuts, just around the edges, so that I can pop them up onto the colorful panels. And this foam is really nice and thin, and you can see there now over on the right, they're all popped up, and it's time to make my card base. I'm scoring this so that it will be a top folding card, 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. I like to tape things closed so that I can see what I'm doing while I'm working on them. But now I'm adding some dot runner to the back of my Swiss dot, and this is where I use my score buddy to quickly press the card base into the corner and the dotted panel, and it just makes lining things up so quick. I love the score buddy for that. Now I've got some liquid glue here. Going to add it to the back of each of these pieces. I'm going to start with placing the center one, and once I get this completely lined up, and I'll just get those others out of the way. Bring in the little T-square, okay? Pressing it, wiggling it. And that's the thing I like about the liquid glue is you do have a little more playtime. Gonna put the brick on and just let it set up. And once I know that's in the right place, I'll go ahead and add the top, HBD, and I'll add the bottom. And again, you can kind of see how you don't really need those centers. You get that it's HBD, right? It's not that hard of a read. I just didn't want to cover up any of the color. I really wanted that to shine through. I stamped and embossed a little sentiment off camera, the little yes, just put down a little of that liquid adhesive, and again, just was able to kind of wiggle it into place until it looked just right. And that's the finished card project. It's colorful, that watercolor just comes through, and it's so happy, and I love that dotted texture in the background. I think this is a very happy birthday card. Thanks so much for watching. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my channel. And also, if you want to know when I'm posting new videos, go ahead and hit the little gray bell below this video screen so you'll never miss a new post. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.